The buzzing of clippers echoed through the small police station locker room. The harsh fluorescent lights flickered overhead as two officers laughed loudly, circling around the woman seated in a chair. Her wrists were cuffed, her shoulders straight, her eyes steady. "Never thought we'd see a judge in here, huh?" One officer snickered, though he had no idea who she really was. Judge Amara Collins sat silently as strands of her thick black hair fell to the floor, each snip a sharp reminder of the injustice unfolding. She had been pulled over under the pretense of a broken taillight, a lie she knew too well, but it escalated into a night of humiliation. They mocked her, calling her princess, sneering at her calm refusal to react. When one officer pulled out clippers, claiming it was procedure for holding, she simply tilted her chin higher. What they didn't know was that the woman they were degrading would be the presiding judge in their disciplinary hearing the very next day. All night she sat in a holding cell, her reflection in the cracked glass showing a woman stripped not of dignity, but of appearance. She thought of her late grandmother's words, "Dignity isn't in what they take from you. It's in what you refuse to give away." Morning came. She was released without charges, no apologies given, just a dismissive wave as if her suffering meant nothing. But as she walked out, her shaved head gleaming in the morning sun, she knew fate had set a stage larger than any courtroom. The next day, the courthouse brimmed with tension. The officers swaggered in, laughing among themselves, certain they'd receive nothing more than a slap on the wrist for a civilian complaint. They sat casually at the defendant's table, their arrogance filling the room. Then the bailiff's voice rang out, "All rise for Judge Amara Collins." The officers' smirks evaporated as the same woman they mocked the night before stepped onto the bench, her black robe flowing like a mantle of justice. The scars of their cruelty were visible. Her bare scalp, still raw in places from the clippers, but her eyes shone with unwavering strength. The courtroom went silent. Even the air felt heavy, charged with the weight of realization. The men who had treated her like less than human now stood exposed, powerless before the very person they had violated. Judge Collins paused before speaking, her gaze moving slowly across the room, lingering on the officers who refused to meet her eyes. The silence was not just punishment. It was revelation. For a full minute, the courtroom held its breath as she turned her pain into presence. Her voice, calm yet unshakable, finally broke the silence. "This court is not only about laws, it is about humanity. And today we will address both." Gasps filled the room. Reporters scribbled furiously and the officers shifted in their seats, suddenly aware that their laughter from the night before had become the evidence of their shame. As the proceedings unfolded, something unexpected happened. One of the officers, the youngest of the group, broke down on the stand. His voice cracked as he admitted he'd gone along out of fear of seeming weak, fear of being outcast by his peers. Tears streamed down his face as he turned toward Judge Collins and whispered, "I'm sorry." The courtroom froze. For a moment, the rigid walls of authority softened, revealing the fragility of human choices. Judge Collins' expression did not change, but her silence spoke volumes. In that instant, power and pain collided, transforming the room into something more than a trial. It became a moment of reckoning. What began as humiliation in a dim police station ended as an unforgettable lesson in the bright light of justice, leaving everyone present changed forever.